All right, New Edition fans. Now, on this channel, I did review the Bobby Brown story in two parts. I believe I'll probably post part one of the Bobby Brown story review, and then I'll post this video. But this is pretty much, just asking the question, who do you think should get a biopic next? I'm talking specifically about the New Edition crew, because obviously there are so many other biopics we want, like Teddy Riley and Destiny's Child, just to name a couple off the top of my head. Jodeci, another one. But we have BBD, Johnny Gill, and Ralph Tresvant. To be honest, I am actually stuck. I feel like if there was a biopic to follow the Bobby Brown story, I personally feel like if it was down to one individual, it should be Johnny Gill. Due to the fact that Johnny had a very, very like chameleon style career, from being a solo artist to being a duo with Stacey Lattisaw to being in the group New Edition, back to being solo, then going to the Home Again tour, then that fell apart. Then he was part of LSG, and then the Heads of State thing, I believe, is what him, Ralph, and Bobby did together. Him, Ralph, and Bobby did together. Then back and forth with New Edition, because like they're going through some stuff now, obviously, but at the same time, there's no like kicking out of the group, was except for Bobby back in the day. But pretty much, they're the New Edition where they're supposed to be New Edition, then they're off doing their own thing when they're supposed to be all doing their own thing. That's how it works with that group. And to be honest, I feel like Johnny has a good catalog of songs, and as well as a very diverse career. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like BBD would be an awesome movie as well. But to be honest, I feel like aside from like the Poison album and that tour, I feel like most of the other story elements would really come more from Mike Bivins and him starting his own company, ABC, Boys to Men, and things of that. And, Ronnie and Ricky, it was just, I believe he did a solo album himself, and then getting into how he started drugs, and then with Ronnie, he went into real estate. So I feel like Johnny should definitely be the second one to get a movie, then BBD, and then, well, Ralph, I don't want to say like he had the weakest solo career. It's just I don't really know much about his solo career. With Johnny, aside from doing his My album and a couple others with Motown that didn't do as well, but still got some good songs off it, like There You Go, which I believe was on the Boomerang soundtrack, and BBD with Poison and whatnot. And once again, Mike Bivins doing what he did as a definite pillar in the music front. Ralph, I don't really know much about his solo career. He did like the Sensitivity album. He did like a couple, didn't he do like a couple more solo albums? But like everybody in New Edition, their second album didn't do as well as the first, hence why the Home Again tour was a thing. But yeah, I would love to know more about the Ralph story, don't get me wrong, I would love to know more about that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I feel like Bobby definitely had, even Mike Bivins said this in a couple of radio interviews after the New Edition film. It's like, what, that was the thing, we tried to pitch this movie like 10 years ago. It really wasn't about New Edition. It was about, okay, what kind of dirt can we dig up on Bobby, how he felt about his marriage to Whitney, her death, and then the death of his daughter and things like that, where New Edition really didn't have a face. It was just Bobby. Like, if you go all the way back to their interview on Oprah's show back during the Home Again tour stage, if you look at that interview, it was mostly focused on Bobby, and that was kind of jacked up. You got the other 5 members of New Edition there, but most of the questions and whatnot, and most of the time was given to Bobby Brown. I think even Mike Bivins, Hakeem, if you will, from Empire, said this in the part 3 of the New Edition story. He's like, man, he been missing so many shows, all the press appearances, but he was sure to make it to Oprah. So I can definitely understand why the New Edition story be a hard sell, because Bobby's story kind of like eclipsed everything else. But at the same time, I just feel like with the success of the New Edition story, the Bobby Brown story, this should definitely allow for a BBD story, a Johnny or a Ralph story, as well as like parts 4, 5, and 6 of the New Edition story. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, a lot of people would make the argument, well, those like BBD, Ralph, and Johnny, those wouldn't get the same views or whatnot. I don't know if they would get the same numbers as Bobby Brown, but at the same time, I don't think we should doubt them for being able to carry a movie like that. I really do feel like the interest in New Edition has skyrocketed ever since the stories, and given how well BET does with those productions, I could definitely see those movies doing well as too. And what really will make it interesting is if you pay attention to the Bobby Brown story, especially during part 1, it really hopscotches around to a bunch of different eras and stuff like that when Bobby was doing certain things, because that film was filling in the gaps left by New Edition, because the New Edition story was really New Edition. It kind of glazed over the solo careers of everybody, but the the New Edition story was about the group rather than individual functions of it. So I imagine that a Johnny, Ralph, and BBD movie would be the same way. And what would really be cool is at the end of the day, if they kind of Frankenstein it and like make it like a mega movie, if you will. I know that's a corny title, and just put everything together. Like, you don't have to, reshoot anything unless they wanted to, but kind of make it like a deluxe movie where all the movies are blended together. So you get a mix of New Edition as well as the solo careers, and put it all together. That would be a long film, that's for sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think these individual stories should happen? Who do you think should get the next film since Bobby got one? And yeah, subscribe if you haven't done so already.